The dog used its body to block a plane that was about to take off because it knew its owner was on board. Fortunately, the captain noticed in time and stopped the aircraft. Palma immediately ran to the window, barking nonstop at the plane, trying to remind its owner that it hadn't boarded yet, but the dog didn't know it had already been abandoned. Palma thought they had just been playing a game, but after it fetched the ball its owner threw, the owner had already climbed the boarding stairs. Palma believed it had delayed the boarding time, while the man on the plane didn't care at all. When the captain couldn't see Palma, he started the plane again. The aircraft moved faster and faster, with Palma chasing behind, quickly being left far behind. But Palma didn't give up and kept running until it reached the end of the runway. The plane had already left the ground, and Palma stared blankly at the departing aircraft, not understanding why its owner didn't wait. Soon airport security arrived, and Palma had to flee in panic. It found a broken section in the fence and escaped to a maintenance worker's home. The old man didn't report it, and when security came looking, he pointed them in the wrong direction. After the guards left, the old man even brought food for the dog, but Palma didn't eat a single bite and kept looking up at the sky. It turned out the plane carrying its owner was returning, and Palma thought its owner was coming back for it, so it immediately rushed over. Before the plane had even landed, it was already waiting on the runway. When the captain saw Palma blocking the runway, he had to control the aircraft to take off again. After the plane landed safely, Palma watched expectantly as passengers got off, never seeing the person it was waiting for, but attracting security again. They used sticks to drive it into a bus. The security captain even prepared to get a rifle to solve this problem permanently, but was stopped by the old man just in time. While the two men were arguing, a curious child crawled into the bus, saw the panicked Palma, and quietly opened the door to let it out. The security captain was about to yell at the boy but had to stop when he learned the child was the captain's son. That night the boy snuck out, wanting to buy a plane ticket to leave, but the ticket agent saw he was too young and refused to sell him one, so he secretly climbed into the plane's cargo hold, but was immediately discovered by Palma, who barked at him non-stop, quickly drawing security attention. With no choice, he had to jump off the plane and escape with Palma. The next day the captain discovered his son was missing and immediately called the police. Only when the old man called did he learn that the boy and Palma had slept together all night. The captain angrily found the boy, but the child didn't want to go back with him at all. The boy had rarely seen his father growing up and was only brought to live with him after his mother died. He just wanted to return to the place where he had lived with his mother, even if he had to be there alone. Looking at his tearful son, and with his own flight about to depart, the captain could only let him stay at the old man's house temporarily. After his father left, the boy couldn't help complaining that it was all because of Palma that he couldn't fly away. However, the old man told him that Palma had actually saved his life. Otherwise he would have frozen to death at high altitude once the plane took off. Hearing this, the boy finally understood. Palma looked up at the sky once again, then quickly rushed out. This amazed the flight attendant who had just arrived. The dog could actually recognize its owner's plane just by the engine sound. From her, the boy finally learned what had happened. It turned out that when boarding yesterday, Palma's owner had forgotten to bring vaccination papers and simply left it at the airport. After hearing this, the boy immediately felt sympathy, and seeing Palma's lonely figure, he couldn't help but shed tears and decided to help the dog. The next day Palma waited as usual under the cabin door, hiding in the distance whenever flight attendants chased it away. Finally it saw a figure that looked very much like its owner and happily chased after it, but by the time it caught up, the bus doors had closed, and it could only run after the vehicle. When it finally caught up, it was stopped by security again. Seeing its owner's figure about to disappear, it desperately shook off the guards and jumped through a window into the terminal building. It finally caught up to the man just as he was about to exit, excitedly approaching to lick his hand. But when the person turned around, it was a stranger's face, and at that moment Palma was completely devastated, not even resisting when surrounded by security. Seeing this scene, the boy rushed out directly to stand in front of Palma, giving it a chance to escape. The airport was thrown into chaos by their actions, even alerting company executives. As soon as the captain got off his plane, he was called in for a severe scolding and told that if this matter wasn't handled well, he could forget about promotion for the rest of his life. With no choice, the captain had to return to the old man's house again, bringing the security captain and professional dog catchers with him. The boy wanted to stop them, but his father held him tightly, giving him no opportunity. In the end, he could only watch helplessly as Palma was caught and put in the van. From then on, the boy was completely disappointed in his father and began packing as soon as he got home. He told his father he would rather go to an orphanage, would rather freeze to death on a plane, than see this cold-hearted father again. The captain angrily hid in his car to calm down, but accidentally discovered a letter the boy had written to the dog's owner. At that moment the captain finally understood the whole story and finally realized why his son wanted to protect Palma. Seeing his son who would rather leave in the rain than stay longer, he finally realized how seriously wrong he had been. He drove after him, promising his son they would rescue Palma together. But when they arrived, they learned that Palma had already escaped. He quickly took his father to the old man's house, but found that Palma hadn't returned. At that moment, a roaring sound came, and the boy turned to see that special plane, so he immediately ran toward the landing site, but didn't see the dog there either. Just when the boy was extremely sad, Palma suddenly came running from the distance. He immediately rushed forward excitedly, but Palma didn't reunite with him and instead ran to the stairs as usual, staring intently at every passenger coming down, but the boy still happily petted its head. The captain, seeing this scene, was also moved by Palma and decided to help his son fulfill his wish by helping Palma find its owner. For this purpose, he specifically invited reporters. But unexpectedly, the company's CEO saw this and immediately realized it was an excellent publicity opportunity, immediately calling all media for extensive coverage. In this way, Palma's story quickly spread throughout the country, with countless caring netizens calling daily to ask about its condition, and many people even flying in specifically just to see it. But its owner still didn't appear, and despite experiencing countless disappointments, the dog remained hopeful, silently waiting for its owner's arrival. Until this day, it saw a dog being put into a carrier by its owner and taken onto a plane. It finally realized it had been abandoned by its owner, and at that moment the light went out of its eyes, and it returned home with its head hanging low. From then on, it never went to wait for that flight again, as if it had suddenly lost all motivation, even becoming so despairing that it didn't want to eat anything. The boy brought a doctor to treat it, but found that there was nothing wrong with it. The doctor said its heart had died, and it was preparing to give its last life for its owner. However, after everyone left, Palma suddenly heard its owner's voice, and it quickly opened its eyes to see its owner right in front of it. It happily jumped up suddenly, but when it walked to its owner, it found that it was just its own hallucination. This made it completely lose the will to survive. Even when it started pouring rain at night, it refused to move an inch. The boy was afraid something would happen to it and rushed over in the rain, seeing it lying on the ground motionless, and heartbreakingly pressed his head against it, urging it to go back. Seeing no response, he tried to force himself to pick it up, but the boy simply couldn't lift it. The boy shed tears helplessly, took off his own clothes to cover Palma, then hugged it to keep it warm. One person and one dog gradually fell asleep in the storm like this. The boy's unwavering loyalty finally awakened Palma's consciousness. It kept licking the boy to express its gratitude, and the boy also happily hugged it and brought it back home. Just as they were about to start a new life, the captain suddenly received a phone call. Palma's owner had returned. On the tarmac, the CEO once again invited all the reporters to witness this touching moment together. But when the owner actually came forward and called to it, Palma instinctively stepped back a few steps. After hesitating for a moment, it still slowly walked forward and affectionately licked its owner's face. Seeing this, the boy could only reluctantly hand over the leash, holding back tears as he turned to leave. Seeing his son's sadness, the captain felt just as bad. He privately approached the dog's owner, hoping to buy Palma, even willing to trade his beloved car. But the man refused everything, under the witness of many reporters. The dog owner led Palma, preparing to return. However, when Palma saw the boy, it couldn't move anymore, even though its owner forcibly pulled it away. It kept looking back at the boy along the way, finally stopping at the stairs and refusing to take another step. Until the last moment, Palma finally realized that the boy was the most important person in its life. It struggled with all its might to break free from the leash and ran toward the boy. Under the setting sun's afterglow, they hugged each other tightly. On that desperate rainy night, Palma had died once, and it was the boy who gave it a second life, and from now on, it would spend the rest of its life protecting its new owner.